If you want to make the jump to lithium without exploding your retirement fund, follow along. It all started when my husband said, "What do you think about sailing?" And I fell in love with catamarans. Hi, I'm Robin, and my life, it's kind of crazy. This is a story of Reboot, a catamaran teaching her newbie sailors the reality of boat life for the past 5 years. And now we embark on our first big adventure. Come join us as we upgrade Reboot and travel to the Bahamas for months at a time. I might have a solution for you, and I'm going to guinea pig myself to test out whether a pre-made lithium kit can really work on a boat that is currently running on AGMs. Don't worry, this isn't a sponsored post, and I don't own $1 million boat. But hey, who wouldn't love to, am I right? But first, a little backstory. When we purchased Reboot in late 2018, she came with 6 old flooded lead-acid batteries, several bottles of distilled water, and a garden sprayer. We didn't know what to do with any of these because, to be quite frank, buying a 38-foot sailing catamaran with zero experience was overwhelming to us once we realized how many systems we had to learn, and that didn't even count the how to sail stuff. How do you eat an elephant? We started one bite at a time, and over the past 6 years, we've learned how to sail and how to take care of Reboot. Some of the time we've hired skilled people to help us, and it's been fantastic. But some of the time we hired skilled people to help us, and they either put us in danger, ripped us off, or both.
I was like, whoa, what did I do?
No, that's normal.
Okay.
Good. That's
all right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
Finding marine companies I could trust and learning how to DIY projects on Reboot have been the 2 most challenging aspects of sailing. And that includes getting caught in 8-foot seas for 9 hours and knocking out my front tooth on our first day sailing in the Bahamas. But what triggered the decision to go with the lithium kit?
It can't work!
How about paying someone half of Reboot's yearly budget to reconfigure $3,000 worth of 1-year-old sealed AGM batteries to run optimally in one bank? And instead, he creates a beautiful-looking setup with meticulous labeling. Labels that I paid $130 an hour for. A system that cooked my batteries.
Like the guy says, you're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna crap thunder.
Undeterred, I decided right there and then that I was going to understand the Reboot inside and out, top to bottom. Originally, we didn't realize the issue with the batteries and reached out to Andre Cormier, one of the owners of the Yacht Rigger in St. Pete, Florida, about adding a DC aircon that could run independently on its own lithium batteries for our master cabin. I'd been thinking about a DC aircon ever since seeing the O'Kelly's video with Andre and the Mabru.
Great day to be testing out air conditioners, wouldn't you say? We both got our jackets on.
It's a perfect day for
Did you bring your Canadian weather with you?
Unfortunately, I did, yes.
So you guys are out of St. Pete?
Correct.
Yeah.
We'd worked with TYR since 2020 when we moved to Florida. And yes, I'm still kicking myself for not sailing Reboot up to them to do the first battery upgrade. The Yacht Rigger created a pretty brilliant system for me that worked with 2 Sun Fun Kit SFK 275EX LFE batteries, 1 Mabru DC-12 aircon, that's the 12-volt one, 2 Victron Orion DC-to-DC chargers, those are the game changers that are 98.5% efficient, and my existing system with 420 watts of solar, yes, I know I need more, 120 Balmar alternator with an external regulator, and my Xantrex 3012 inverter. It would allow the system to charge the AGM batteries first while under motor, then switch over to the lithiums when the AGM absorb rate slowed. We drove up to St. Pete to pick up the batteries. Then I drove over to Miami to pick up the aircon from Mabru directly. I've made it to Mabru. A tank of gas is a lot cheaper than shipping, and we like to visit St. Pete and say hi to everyone at the Yacht Rigger when we get a chance. Okay, thanks. My husband, who prefers to work off camera as much as possible, suggested that we start with testing the existing batteries to make sure everything was okay with the system. That was when we discovered that they were not, in fact, okay. Nope, not at all. So we pivoted, and I called Andre. Luckily, we hadn't started to install any of the new aircon system. And as it turned out, most of it could be used as part of the Yacht Rigger's new lithium DIY upgrade kit. I can't wait to show you every part of this new install. So here we go. Where was I? Starting all over again. Let's turn the damn camera on. I am Robin, and this is my sailing catamaran Reboot, and this is my latest project. We just removed all of the AGM batteries that were in here, and we are going to be installing these SFK 275EX batteries that are LiFe PO or LFE lithiums. These are the safe kind. These are not the kind that burst into flame. They don't have thermal runaway. They're okay to use on the boat. If people are scaring you with the idea of lithiums on your boat, then you just need to do some basic education and find out that there is a big difference between the ion batteries, the lithium ion batteries, and the LFE batteries. So these are SFK LFE batteries. They're 275 amp hours each. They come with onboard battery monitoring systems, so I can tell exactly what each battery is doing. And they also come with fail-safe shutoffs, so if I run them too low, they will shut themselves off and I can't hurt them. And that was an important when I was talking to the Yacht Riggers about designing a new system. They were designing a new system for me. I'm like, please make stupid proof as possible, because I don't want to be back here in another year with another set of bad batteries. And the AGMs going bad in 2 years, we trusted, we shouldn't have trusted the installer and not the Yacht Rigger, some other guy. And basically our batteries are toast in 2 years. That is not going to happen this time around for a few reasons. One, I'm taking notes. I put myself in YouTube University and I am learning every single part of the system. I'm learning the batteries. I'm learning the BMV shut. There's going to be almost all Victron except for my existing Xantrex inverter. And basically every day I spend about 3 hours taking notes and trying to understand it, understanding alternator safety, understanding how the BMV needs to be programmed for these batteries. And basically, I am going to understand this system from top to bottom, so I know exactly what's going on, so I don't have this problem ever again. I'm looking forward to having all new problems on the boat, but it's not going to be this one. So here's what we're doing. The Yacht Rigger is designing this system for us, and they are sending the parts, and they're sending the diagrams. We're doing the grunt work. We're doing the installation. We pulled out the old batteries, and my back is really mad at me for that because they weighed 100 pounds each. We had 8 of them. So we're doing all the grunt physical work. We're wiring things up. We're following the diagrams. We're good at following directions. I'm not good at listening or following directions, but I want to get this right, so I'm going to do it. One of the first things I learned yesterday from watching all of the videos, and some of them were from the Yacht Rigger, was that something that's really important is that your batteries absolutely cannot move. They have to be in relation to each other and the boat. They have to be completely rigid. The old system that I pulled out was like crazy overbuilt. It had the 2 banks of batteries. It had these billeted aluminum holes, and then they had these massive, I don't even want to know how much he charged me to build these damn things, but it was too much. Charged me $1,000 for the piece of starboard down there. So I'm having trouble moving past the anger I feel at being A, ripped off, and B, letting somebody incompetent on my boat. But I'm going to have to get past that because it's annoying me, and I'm sure it's annoying you. Plan for today is to mark out where the links distribution hub needs to go. The Yacht Rigger sent me a diagram for that beginning part of the install. The other thing is that battery needs to be turned around, and they all need to be, I need to basically lift these batteries out and draw a grid where I need to screw these in and basically create a very safe, stable bed for the SFKs to live. So I've got my notes for the BMV Smart. I've got my notes for the SFKs and basically the do's and don'ts for the SFKs. I've been learning a lot about alternator safety, and I've got some notes on the links where the fuses should be. And all of this stuff is already in the diagrams that the Yacht Rigger is sending me. This is the way I learn, is to watch people doing stuff and take notes about it. Some grounding notes about my inverter. One of the things they recommended was to really understand my Xantrex inverter, and that is something that
I am working on. I need to check and see if it's grounded. I need to check and see if there's like a little cover on each of them. And I need to also find out how power comes in the boat from the shore plug and how it's regulated through the system. So I'm still teaching myself this system. Xantrex inverter. I need plug terminators into the port, and I need one that needs to be up on the back of the faceplate. Yeah, the interface board. And then how is the shore power wired for this boat? Does it go charger, battery, inverter, which is really inefficient and wears out all my systems? Or is there a transfer switch somewhere on board this boat that I just don't know, where when I'm plugged in, I can tell the transfer switch, just run the stuff in the boat and don't charge the batteries? Because another thing I've learned about the SFK batteries and LFE batteries in general, I think this is standard for lithium batteries too, is sealed AGMs kind of like to be bumped. Like they'll go down a little bit, bump them back up, a little bit, bump them back up. Lithiums hate it. They hate it, and it will ruin the batteries. So once these batteries are charged up to 100%, they need to be left to their own devices and not given juice constantly until they drop down to about 20% minimum charge. So actually, that's what it's set to turn off. But from what I understand, and I'm learning about lithium batteries, is to have them when you're plugged in at shore power, if you're having energy constantly fed into them, it will ruin them. I need to find out if I have a transfer switch or if there is something on the Xantrex that will sense when these are up at 100% and then just not give them any juice until they drop down to a certain percentage point. And that is one way to make sure these batteries will give us many years of happy sailing. Another thing we're going to do is install computer fans in here to try and ventilate this system better. We have a vent right here that lets some cabin air into the area. But I think what I'm going to do is add some powered fans underneath to literally pull air in here. And then I am going to add another vent to basically let the air come out so we can have a good circulation of air in here. And those fans will run as long as the batteries are above 20%. It'll just be a constant blowing on them. Right now, I'm wearing a winter coat because it's 50 degrees in Southwest Florida, and I hate the cold. It does get pretty hot in the boat, especially because we still have this Webasto in here. We're putting the new Mabru in on the other side, but this is on shore power. This is a 16K BTU Webasto. That puts off a ton of heat. So I'm thinking that I may actually put some sort of like an insulated vat right here. I'm not sure. It may not be good for this to do that, but I'm going to do some more research on that. But here we are. This is the state of the install so far. I'm trying to be very patient about it and understanding that I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to have questions that I don't understand and ask a lot of questions. But it's so funny. We just got these batteries in, and what do I have to do today? Pull them all back out. So that's what I'm going to do today. Where's my Advil? But I am going to get it right. I'm not going to cut corners. I'm going to ask lots of questions. And that's basically, unless you have enormous discretionary budget, that's what you have to do to be out there sailing and have a reasonable assumption of safety and functionality. I say reasonable, not perfect. I do know that the BMV shunt is staying, but I have to look at all of the diagrams and see where things are going to be moved around to. One of the problems with the old battery system was the batteries that melted and got hot had a cord this long, and the batteries that basically never got used in the same bank were this long. So if you have a battery system that's wired up like that, you're going to have problems. And we know that now. Okay, focus, Robin. The links is going to go right here. And then the wires from the links are going to go out to the batteries. So I need to figure out, do I keep the batteries this way or do I put the batteries that way? What's the best configuration? I think this is fine. I just have to switch that battery around. I'll confirm it and then we'll move from there. So thank you for watching. I know that people have lots and lots of opinions on lithium installs, even on like the little you put up on YouTube. People are very opinionated about lithiums, and you're welcome to your opinion. Constructive criticism is always appreciated. I may not follow your advice. I may ask you more questions. I may laugh at you and mentally give you the middle finger, but I will read it. One of the best things about sailboats is they force you to use your brain and they force you to use your body. So I am about to use my body. Where's the admiral? Anyway, thank you for following along. Please subscribe if you want to see more of these. I am a tiny, tiny little channel. My channel is not my career. My channel is my hobby and it is my passion. I would do this if nobody watched. I would do this if 100,000 people watch, although I actually think that that might stress me out a lot. I'll never ask subscribers for money because that's not what I'm comfortable with. I don't have a problem if that is the business model for other YouTube channels. You do you. For me, I love to work with companies that I think make sense for the boat. So you'll hear me talking about the Yacht Rigger because I think they're great and I think that they know what they're doing. And if you have been in the boating community for any length of time, you know that there are a lot of bad actors out there. They're either incompetent or they're crooks or they're both. It's funny, as boaters, you almost hate to give away your secrets because I know the yacht riggers are already crazy busy. The more people I tell about them, the farther back in line I'm going to be to get things done on the boat. And I'm okay with that. I do think it's really important to support the businesses that actually know what they're doing, are competent, genuinely invest in their customers and doing a good job and know this is not paid. I bought these. These are my babies. Here we are. So you might see me working with some companies like Evolution Sales because I like their product. I think that the amount of burnout and exhaustion that I'm seeing from some of the really big sailing channels, I think part of it is it's just joy of sailing out of it for them. Because when you take sailing and working on your boat and you put all of this pressure on yourself to create and to perform, and I actually think that's what it is. I think that, and I've been making TikToks for about 3 years and I've been slowly porting them over to YouTube and now I'm working on YouTube. But I think the main issue that I'm seeing with a lot of the bigger sailing YouTube channels is that the pressure to perform and produce is becoming paramount to just the joy of sailing and the joy of creating. I love creating videos. I hate creating videos on a schedule. Hate it. It stresses me out. I'm like, why am I doing this? It made me not want to get on Reboot and work on Reboot because I'm like, oh, do I have the lighting right? Oh, do I have the sound right? Oh, is the camera in the right spot? So what you're going to see is mediocre filming, mediocre sound. I'm going to try and give you as thorough content as I can without making myself miserable. So this is as good as it's going to get. It may get better. I'm teaching myself Adobe Premiere Pro, so my videos may get a little better, but I'm never going to put that in front of enjoying sailing and loving being on the boat. I don't make decisions for the boat or myself or my husband that I would never have made if I weren't filming, if that makes sense. I just don't be that person, and it wasn't making me happy. So here I am. Ask me anything.
Okay, my 4 batteries are in. These are my new lithiums, 275 amp hours. And this is the starter battery. And you can see that the guy who installed our starter battery, I don't think that's ABYC using green sticky tape to stabilize it and a frame that's not the right size. Do you? Anyway, I'm going to fix that. But what I'm doing right now is this is coming out. This is my BMV shunt. And that is going to get moved because I'm putting a big links distribution system in here that is going to talk to all 4 of the batteries. So that's where I'm at. Okay, the links is in. And then Following the diagram, I attached it to my BMV 712 Smart. Here's where it used to be attached to. We're going to leave that alone until I get more. We're going to leave that alone for now. And this one goes to the display. This one goes to my house bank, or it will go. And then this one goes to my starter battery, which I need to hook back up now that I put it in a nice, sturdy holder. See you out there.